Hi boys, let's start a new chapter. It's called Coordinate Geometry. Now, why is it important and what does it do? We've done some part of it in grade 7 and grade 8 as well. So let's quickly revise the basic few concepts. It helps us in locating a point. So finding an exact location of a point. This is used specifically in geography where you give coordinates of a point. It is used in a game called Battleship. In fact, there are many games, one of which is Battleship. I am hoping some of you have played it, where you have to uh, figure out where the ship of the opponent is and kill it, or destroy it rather. And then it is also used in Excel, Microsoft Excel. So anywhere where you need to figure out the exact point is where this is used. Now there are dependent variables and independent variables. Let's look at it with an example. So if my equation is given as y is equal to 3x minus 6, then this is my independent variable because this is not dependent on y. Y is dependent on x. So y is equal to 3x minus 6. So if x is equal to 1, then y will be equal to 3 into 1 minus 6, which is 3 minus 6, which is negative 3. So in this case, y is the dependent variable. Right? This is the way it's been given. Now, if I write the same equation as 3x is equal to y plus 6, then the dependent and the independent changes. This now becomes the dependent variable and this is my independent variable because this is irrespective of the value of x. Let's solve one question from exercise 26a. Question number 1, part 1. Y is equal to 4 by 3x minus 7. So which is the dependent variable? Since y depends on the value of x, so y is the dependent variable, and since x is independent of the variable of a value of y, it is an independent variable. Let's look at part 3. X is equal to 5y plus 3 upon 2. Now x depends on the value of y and y is the independent variable in this case. Perfect. Now coming to the next part, which is an ordered pair. So what is an ordered pair? So the coordinates of any point are given in are written usually in a bracket, and the first term, let's say 3, and the second term, let's say 2. So the first term is always the value on the x-axis and the second term is always the value on the y-axis. So first is always x, the second is always y. How do I remember it? Well, in the alphabets, x comes before y. So even in ordered pair, x comes before y. Now the first term, which is also the value of the x axis, is also known as abscissa. Now there will be many questions where instead of writing the x value, it will be written as abscissa. So you need to remember this term abscissa. Abscissa is the first value and ordinate is the second value. So the y value is known as ordinate, the x value is known as abscissa. Now how do I remember it? In the alphabet, A comes before O. So even in the ordered pair, abscissa comes before ordinate. Right? So this is just the basic, and now let's look at the Cartesian plane. This is basically known as the Cartesian plane or XY plane. Some people call it the XY graph. Some people call it XY axis graph. So this is basically that plane where the origin, which is the point where the x-axis and y-axis meet, is known as O, which is basically 0, and then on the right hand side you have positive values of x, on the left hand side you have negative values of x. Similarly on the up you have going up you have positive values of y, going down you have negative values of y. Now here let's say if I'm looking at this point, the coordinates of this point with I look at first the x-axis, which is in this case 1, and then the y-axis, which in this case is 1 again. Let's look at this point. Now for this point, again the x-axis value is 1 and the y-axis value is 2. So this is known as this point will be known as 1, 2. The first term is the abscissa value, which is on the x-axis. The second term is the ordinate value, which is the y-axis value. Now all numbers on this side, so this plane is divided in 4 quadrants. This is my first quadrant, this is my second quadrant. Quadrant means divided into 4 equal parts. So this is my second quadrant, this is my third quadrant, and this is my fourth quadrant, divided into 4 equal parts. In this quadrant 1, the value of x is positive and the value of y will also be positive. In this case, the value of x is negative and the value of y will be positive. In quadrant 3, the value of x is negative and the value of y is also negative. Whereas in the last quadrant, the value of x is positive, whereas the value of y is negative. So this is a quick revision of what we've done till now. I will see you in the next video with plotting a few points. Thank you. Bye-bye.